sentence completion, as the name suggests, a sentence is left blank at one place, followed by four options A, B, C, and D. This is called multiple choice question. For every single question, there will be four options in entrance test. All the questions are multiple choice questions. Our today's topic, sentence completion, is also of the same nature. We have, depending upon the nature of the question, we can divide it into three types. There are three types of sentence completion questions which can be asked in different entrance tests. For example, first type is sentence completion logic based. A sentence is left blank on the basis of some logic, and the students are required to reach the answer on the basis of the logic that is involved in a sentence. And the second type of sentence completion question is sentence completion vocabulary based. You can look at this. This is sentence completion vocabulary based. In sentence completion vocabulary based, certain words are defined, and the word whose definition is given, that is left blank. And on the basis of what is defined in the sentence, the student's job is to reach the answer on the basis of certain vocabulary techniques. The third type of sentence completion question is grammar-based sentence completion question. The students are tested out of the grammatical rules and the format of the question, the way you have done in your intermediate sentence correction. But over here, a sentence is left blank at one place, and some grammatical concept is checked in this. That is what I call sentence completion grammar based. So we have three types of sentence completion questions: sentence completion logic based, sentence completion vocabulary based, and sentence completion grammar based. These are three bases on which a sentence is left blank. So this, at the same time, this types of sentence completion question defines the scope of the question, what sort of knowledge is required to approach that sort of question. The very first thing that I usually teach is to make the students aware of the types of question, what I call anatomy of questions. By the anatomy of question, I mean the way question figures up in the exam. Look at this. First of all, the directions. Choose the right option to complete the following sentences. That is the wording. The wording goes like this. For example, in contrast to the previous night's noise, this night is very blank. A option, noise. B option, warm. C option, calm. And D option, lengthy. Let's have a look at this sentence. Logic tells us that if there is a contrast signal word in a sentence, in this sentence, the word in contrast itself is a contrast signal word. A word that signals, that hints towards getting an idea that two such words are going to be used as are opposite in meanings to each other. So the presence of in contrast to logically tells us that later on in the sentence, two such options are going to be used as are opposite in meaning to each other. One word is given, for example, noise is given. That is our clue. Now, this is our, let me say, litmus test. On the basis of noise, we will reach our answer. For example, in contrast shows that two such words are going to be used as are opposite to each other. One word, noise, is given, and our answer for sure will be a word that will be antonym to noise. Let us test every option whether it is antonym to noise or not. For example, is antonym to noise is noise or noisy? Certainly not. The antonym to noise is not noisy at all. This cannot be your answer. Is antonym to noise is warm? Certainly not. Is antonym to noise is calm? Yes. Is antonym to noise lengthy? Certainly not. So here we go. The antonym to noise is calm. Now reread the sentence. In contrast to the previous night's noise, this night is calm. This is called logic-based sentence completion. Had it been like this, like the previous night's noise, this night is also noisy. That would have been synonym signal words. So these are the two logics I just shared in the beginning just to give you an idea what sort of sentence completion is called sentence completion logic based. I discussed only two logics. One is of antonym, contrast signal, and the other one is of synonym signal. And of course, in the lecture, later on, I'll be discussing certain more techniques, right? The second type of sentence completion, just to give you an example of second type of sentence completion, of vocabulary-based sentence completion, the way I pointed out, that the definition of a word is given and the word itself is left blank. On the basis of what is defined in the sentence, the student's job is to try to find out the word whose definition has been given. There are many markers for finding out the definition. I will explain these when I will be explaining all these topics. For example, the car traveled 10 kilometers per hour eastwards. The car traveled 10 kilometers per hour eastwards. Its blank was 10 kilometers per hour east. Now, you can have a look at this. The students whose EQ level is very high, I mean emotional quotient level, is very high, they will jump to the conclusion, okay, that is damn easy question, and immediately, without thinking, without looking at the definition that is given in the sentence, they will mark that A is your answer. That is what I call eye catcher. I will explain this later on in my lecture. So, if you are science students and you know it very well, that the distance covered by a body in a unit of time in a particular direction is called velocity. It's not speed. So according to the definition, your answer is D. This is how we go. Your answer is velocity. If you look up a dictionary that gives you thesaurus, that gives you a list of synonyms, every dictionary of the world will give speed synonym to velocity. But being the students of science, you can understand it very well that there is a difference between velocity and speed. Velocity is a vector quantity and speed is a scalar quantity. In the same very manner, the synonym to mass is weight, the synonym to accuracy is precision. These are all scientific terminologies. But you can understand it very well that there is the basic difference. Sometimes it is the difference of vector and scalar quantity, and sometimes there are other differences, technical differences, scientific differences. So English dictionary, combines these words under one heading of synonyms. But whenever it comes to finding out the definition-based sentence completion, if you have been given the exact definition of the word, so only exact and pat word will work, right? Then we will not go for the synonyms. That is how it happened in second type of sentence completion question, what I call sentence completion vocabulary based. The third types of sentence completion question is grammar based, which is rarely tested in medical entrance tests. Otherwise, in the rest of the test, it can be a part of your entrance test. It goes like this. In third example, you can see, we are used to here in Lahore. We are left blank with this part of the sentence. We are used to live. We are used to lived. We are used to living. We are used to lives. Certainly, you can say that the presence of is MR clearly lets us know that these words like is, MR, was, were, these words go with the ing form of verb. So D is your answer. This answer we guessed on the basis of our knowledge of grammatical rules. So far, I have tried to make it very much clear what a sentence completion question is, what are the types of sentence completion, logic-based, vocabulary-based, and grammar-based, and what is the anatomy of the question, the format of the question, which is given to the students in the exam, and the nature of question is, of course, you are not supposed to write anything. The nature of question is multiple choice question. After discussing, after giving you a general introduction about the type of question and the logic involved in sentence completion, let us head toward the tools and techniques which are required for the solution of these questions. Here we go. These are certain tools and techniques for sentence completion question. The first type is contrast signal words, and the second one is synonym signal words. The third one is keywords and phrases. The fourth one is defining characteristics. Fifth one is reference to the context. Sixth one is excluding the options. Seventh one is eye-catcher words and phrases. And the eighth one is common sense. Ninth one is cause and its effect. And the 10th point is placing and replacing. That is just an overview of the types of the techniques that we are going to share. For example, in the first type, as I explained right now, that contrast signal words give you a hint that two such words are going to be used as are opposite in meanings to each other. Like the contrast signal words, there are synonym signal words which give you a hint that two such words are going to be used as are same or similar in one way or the other to each other. And the third type, keywords and phrases. In every sentence there might be certain keyword. There is a master key that opens all the locks. In the same very manner, there are certain words or phrases that give you clue towards solving that question without getting to know the meanings of each and every word you come across in the question. The fourth type is defining characteristics. The way I explained that I gave you the definition of velocity. A car traveled 10 kilometers per hour east. Its velocity was 10 kilometers per hour east. That was definition of that word. We will discuss more examples. Then reference to the context, on the basis of the sentence given, we will try to find out an idea what is the probable answer to that question, and excluding the options, eye-catchers and phrases, common sense, cause and its effect, and placing and replacing. Now I will go on writing these headings, these 10 headings again, and we will be giving you the examples so that this rule can be incorporated, right? I pointed out certain techniques in the beginning of this lecture, that there are 10 techniques, tools and techniques that we will be discussing or practicing. Let us come to these topics, these techniques in details. The first technique is contrast signal words. These are the words which give you a hint that two such words are going to be used as are opposite in meaning. Here is the list of the contrast signal words. For example, although, despite, in spite of, however, still, but, yet, in contrast to, rather than, nevertheless, even though, on the contrary. These are words. ये words आपको hint करते हैं कि later on sentence में जब भी इनमें से कोई एक word आप देखें, you should get to know two such words are going to be used as are opposite in meaning. For example, I give you an example. During the Battle of Trafalgar, Admiral Nelson remained blank and in full command of situation in spite of hysteria and panic all around. Hysteria and panic all around. You can get to know this, and the word before and after and are of same meanings. That is why I call them synonym signal words. We'll explain these two techniques together, contrast signal word and synonym signal word. If there is any word out of this table, it means two opposite words will be used in the sentence. And if there is any one of these words present in your sentence, it clearly gives us an idea that two same concepts are going to be discussed in the sentence. For example, and. For example, you say neat and clean. The word before and neat and the word after and clean. Both the words are of the same meaning, right? In the same very manner, there are other words also in addition to, like, as, similarly, that is, additionally. For instance, these are all the words which give you an idea that two same words or similar words are going to be used. With the help of one example, I will explain all these two, both of these two concepts, synonym signal words and contrast signal words. During the Battle of Trafalgar, Admiral Nelson remained blank and in full command of situation in spite of hysteria and panic all around. You can see the word before and is hysteria. Suppose we are not aware of the meaning of this word, but the word after and is panic. That clearly lets us know that this is some negative word. So the word before and after and are of same or similar meaning. So hysteria and panic, both words are to some extent of the same or similar meaning, right? And remember, to check the polarity of the words, whenever it comes to sentence completion vocabulary based, do check the polarity of the words. By polarity of the words, I mean the words positivity or negativity. Here we have established that these two words, hysteria and panic, these are of, these words are bearing negative charges. For our convenience, we mark them that these words are negative. एन से पहले और एन के बाद में टू वर्ड्स आपके पास हिस्टेरिया एंड पैनिक, ये नेगेटिव वर्ड्स हैं. Our first rule is justified that and is synonym signal word कि and से पहले और बाद वाले वर्ड मीनिंग के लिहाज से सेम होते हैं. Let us apply the same technique to the rest of the question. For example, over here we see the word and. Now, this and clearly lets us know the way it did when we looked at hysteria and panic. The word after and, the phrase afterward is in full command. In full command. Now, see the polarity of this phrase. To be in full command is something positive or negative. Certainly, this is positive. कि एंड के बाद अगर कोई पॉजिटिव वर्ड हो तो एंड से पहले भी पॉजिटिव मीनिंग वाला वर्ड होगा. दिस इज आवर हाइपोथेसिस. लेट अस hypothesize it that over here we are going to use a positive word because the word after and is positive, so the word before and should also be positive. That gives the meaning, positive meaning. And I talked about contrast signal word. For example, you can have look at this in spite of. This in spite of, here it is, in spite of clearly lets us know that this is a contrast signal word. In spite of के बाद अगर कोई नेगेटिव वर्ड है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हिस्टेरिया और पैनिक नेगेटिव वर्ड्स हैं. इन स्पाइट ऑफ के बाद अगर नेगेटिव वर्ड्स हैं तो इन स्पाइट ऑफ से पहले आपके पास पॉजिटिव वर्ड होने चाहिए ब्लैंक में. सो हाइपोथेसिस हमारा यही था कि यहाँ पर पॉजिटिव वर्ड ही आना चाहिए बिकॉज द वर्ड और फ्रेज आफ्टर एंड वाज पॉजिटिव. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू सिनोनिम सिग्नल वर्ड वी नीडेड अ पॉजिटिव वर्ड ओवर हियर. And according to contrast signal word, in spite of, if the words after in spite of are negative, hysteria and panic are negative. So the word or phrases before in spite of should be positive, and here we go. So let us see whether these words are positive or negative. We have established that we need some positive word. Let us look at the first option. This is positive or negative. Certainly this is negative, so we cannot go with this answer. Perturbed, disturbed. If the sound are same, they are same or similar in some way. That's why it also has a negative meaning. Perturbed also means negative, disturbed. All right. Then it doesn't. This word does not have anything to do with romantic. So we needed positive word, and un is positive or negative. Certainly this is negative, and this is positive or negative. Certainly negative. So negative into negative is positive. So this is your answer. B option is your answer, quite mathematically and scientifically. All right. This is how we go. अगर आपका synonym signal से बाद वाला word positive है, so the word before and should also be positive one. This is how we have looked at the application, how to apply this. The basic thing is knowing of the rules is also important, but the most important is to get to know how to apply these techniques to the questions when you are given these questions in the exams. So far we have discussed these two techniques. The first one is contrast signal words, and the second one is synonym signal words. All right. Now we will be heading towards our next technique, that is keywords and phrases. As I explained, keywords or phrases are the words that unlock the whole of the sentence, that give you a clear idea what is going to be your answer. Let's have a look at the example of this point, keywords and phrases. Technique is defining characteristics. The way I explained, a word is defined in a sentence and the word itself is left blank. With the help of certain markers, you can find out which word is going to be used. For example, is. The word is itself is a marker for the definition identification. A word, then is, then definition. For example, displacement is the word. Defining word is. Displacement is. Now there will be definition. The shortest and direct distance between 2 points in a straight line. So it can be reversed. The shortest and direct distance in 2 points in a straight line is displacement. You can see sometimes it so happens the definition is given, then the explanatory word is, are, who, that, like, for example, are written, and then the word itself is written. Sometimes the word is first, for example, displacement, then defining word is, then the definition, the shortest distance between 2 points in a straight line. This is how we go with sentence completion defining characteristics questions. So the crux of the matter is the definition of some word is written over there, and our job is to find out the word itself. For example, fourth point, defining characteristics. For example, let's look at this example. The chemist tried to produce blank that could cure all the diseases. Now, this, that, who, these are defining markers. The word, phrase or clause written after that is the definition of the word that precedes this, that. Now, the definition is that could cure all the diseases. Now, try every option. Is there any medicine that could cure all the diseases? Certainly not. Is, symptom does not have anything to do with the medicine, right? And if I look at this C option, injection, so injection is also used to inject medicine. So once again, two options cannot be your answer. So we are left with the word panacea. So panacea is a supposed medicine that is supposed to cure all the diseases. For example, ideal gas, a gas that is supposed to obey all the gas laws at all the temperatures. That is an ideal or noble gas. As such, there is no such gas. In the same manner, we are given a word panacea whose definition has been given that could cure all the diseases. It is also wonder medicine or elixir, 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 right. Next point, that is keywords and phrases. In every sentence, there is a keyword that will open the whole of the sentence, that will unlock the whole of the sentence. So this is not necessary for the students to get to know the meanings of each and every word. It is quite possible that by understanding the sense in the sentence, the student can reach the right answer. And the words or phrases that help the students reach the right answer with the help of certain words and phrases in the sentence, I call them keywords and phrases. Let's have a look at the sentence. Because his time was limited, Wang decided to read the novel War and Peace in blank edition. You see, what is the keyword in this sentence? Well, the time was limited. This is your keyword. Time was limited. What does the logic tell us about when you have scarcity of time, when you have limited time, when you do not have plenty of time? What is your approach towards doing the things? When you have short time, you do the lengthy tasks in an abridged edition, right? Abridged mean very short form, very short form. So this word limited, time limited, this clearly relates to your short form, right? When you have limited time, you read the novel in short form, which is abridged form, right? This is how you get an idea. The second thing is, the technique says that in second blank, the last word is addition, and this word addition is starting with E, which is a vowel sound. So you need a word that, you need an option that begins with the article N. Second word of every option A, B, C, or D should begin with N. For example, N addition, right? Look at this. Addition, modern addition. Had it been like this, an addition, for example, the way you can look at this, an abridged addition. All right. So the technique says when you have short time, you read the lengthy novel in short time, in short form. So this is your keyword and phrases. For example, because of the lack of the time, he decided to read the lengthy novel in short form, for example, to put it in an easy way. All right, this is what I call keywords and phrases.